Astoria, Oregon, 2003. The sea breeze gently swept through the small streets, carrying the salty scent of the ocean. Anna Mitchell, a 22-year-old preschool teacher with golden blonde hair and a radiant smile, was enjoying a picnic by the Columbia River with friends. Laughter echoed, mingling with the sound of waves lapping at the shore. Amidst this peaceful scene, Anna's gaze met that of a stranger. Ethan Carter, 28, a construction engineer with a tall, sturdy frame and warm eyes, stood not far away, looking her way. Anna's heart skipped a beat. Drawn by an invisible force, she approached him. "Hi, I'm Anna," she smiled, feeling her cheeks flush slightly. Ethan returned a gentle smile. "Nice to meet you, Anna. I'm Ethan. Do you come here often?" Their conversation flowed naturally, as if they had known each other for years. The dates that followed became an indispensable part of their lives. They strolled along Cannon Beach at sunset, watching the sun dip below the horizon, leaving the sky painted in vibrant shades of orange. Ethan often held Anna's hand, whispering, "I can't imagine my life without you." After a year of dating, Ethan proposed to Anna under a starry sky. "Anna, will you be my wife?" He gazed deeply into her eyes, waiting. Tears of happiness streamed down her cheeks as Anna nodded. "Yes, I will." Their wedding took place at St. Mary's Church, witnessed by close family and friends. Anna, in a pristine white wedding dress, held a bouquet of carnations as she walked down the aisle, her heart brimming with joy. Ethan waited at the end of the aisle, his eyes never leaving her. As they exchanged rings, he whispered, "You are my everything." Their married life was filled with joy. Evenings were spent cooking together, watching movies, or simply sitting side by side, basking in the warmth of their love. They made plans for the future, talking about children and a little house with a garden full of flowers. But their happiness didn't last long. In late 2004, Ethan took on a major construction project in Seattle. He promised Anna it was only a short-term job and that he'd be back soon. However, the project stretched longer than expected, and though Ethan had promised to be gone only a few weeks, he kept having to stay due to unfinished work. Every day they called each other, sharing small stories. Anna counted the days, waiting for his return. After 2 months of working in Seattle, on a winter morning in late 2004, the phone rang. Anna picked it up, her heart full of hope to hear Ethan's voice. But on the other end was a stranger's voice, grave and serious. "Ms. Mitchell, I'm so sorry to inform you that your husband was in an accident at the construction site and didn't survive." The phone slipped from her hand as Anna collapsed to the floor. The world around her seemed to crumble. At the funeral, she stood silently by the coffin, her tears long dried. "You said it'd only be a few weeks." In the days that followed, Anna lived in despair. Though friends and family tried to comfort her, she refused all help, choosing to dwell in her grief alone. The small house by the Columbia River became empty and cold. She clutched Ethan's jacket, breathing in the lingering scent of him, her tears soaking the fabric. Every corner of the house reminded her of him, of the sweet memories they'd shared. The Astoria Sea, which had once witnessed their love, now stood as a symbol of her pain. Anna often stood on Cannon Beach at sunset, staring into the distance, her heart heavy. The sea breeze tousled her hair, but it couldn't dispel the sorrow within her. Time passed, but the wound in her heart refused to heal. Anna wondered if she could go on living without Ethan, but she didn't know that fate still held unexpected turns ahead. By mid-2005 in Astoria, Oregon, after the deaths of Ethan and her mother-in-law, Margaret, Anna Mitchell, now 23, faced a harsh reality. The bank informed her that Ethan and his mother had taken out a large loan to invest in the construction company. Now, with their passing, the burden of debt fell on Anna's shoulders, a sum she couldn't possibly repay with her modest preschool teacher's salary. The small house by the Columbia River, where she and Ethan had shared so many sweet memories, was put up for foreclosure. Creditors knocked on her door relentlessly, their cold stares making Anna feel powerless. She sat amidst a pile of debt notices, clutching her head, whispering, "Why has everything turned against me?" Her teaching job wasn't enough to cover the bills, Every day became a struggle, but Anna refused to give up. She resolved to keep going for the promise she had made to Ethan. On the first anniversary of Ethan's death, Tom Harris, an old friend of Ethan's from Seattle, came to visit. Seeing Anna's frail state, Tom suggested, "I know Robert Lawson, a businessman in Seattle, who's looking for a housekeeper. The pay is good, the job's stable. It could help you pay off the debt." Anna hesitated. She had never left Astoria, but the financial burden forced her to consider the offer. She knew she couldn't continue as a teacher with her meager salary, and she had no other options. Tom, who had been Ethan's close friend and always reliable, assured her that this job could help her settle the debt and start anew. He encouraged her, "You're stronger than you think." After a sleepless night, Anna decided to take the opportunity. She knelt before Ethan's photo, saying, "I'm sorry, I have to go for our future." She packed her belongings, taking Ethan's wedding ring with her, and boarded a bus to Seattle. In Seattle, Anna met Robert Lawson, 55, who lived in a luxurious but cold mansion. Robert, with a calm demeanor and deep eyes, greeted her. "Hello, I'm Robert." Anna replied softly, "Thank you for giving me this opportunity." She began her work as a housekeeper, diligently cooking and cleaning, bringing warmth to the mansion's cold atmosphere. Robert, a successful but lonely businessman, gradually noticed Anna's dedication and the sad yet resilient look in her eyes. One evening, seeing the elaborate meal Anna had prepared, Robert said, "You don't need to do so much." Anna smiled. "I want to do well to thank you." Her sincerity touched his heart. Over nearly a year at the mansion, through brief conversations, they shared pieces of their past. Anna spoke of Ethan, of the pain of losing her husband and mother-in-law. Robert revealed, "I once had a family, but jealousy cost me everything." One rainy afternoon, seeing Anna staring into the distance on the porch, Robert comforted her. "You're young. Don't let the past imprison you." Anna replied, "I live for Ethan." Their shared understanding brought them closer. Their bond grew through small gestures. Robert gave Anna a warm coat, and Anna cooked dishes he liked. One fall evening in 2006, Robert held her hand and said, "Anna, I want us to try opening our hearts. I can give you a home." Anna hesitated at first, still haunted by memories of Ethan, but Robert's sincerity and patience gradually made her feel safe. Finally, she nodded, hoping to find happiness again. Meanwhile, Michael Turner, 35, Robert's young business partner, often visited the mansion. Michael, wealthy yet humble, had been Ethan's friend and was impressed by Anna's strength. Having heard about Anna and her relationship with Ethan from Tom Harris, Michael quietly observed her from afar, wanting to help the widow of his late friend. He brought flowers from Astoria and talked about Ethan as a way to comfort her. Anna hadn't noticed, but Michael had been watching her from a distance. In the fall of 2006, at Robert Lawson's mansion in Seattle, Anna Mitchell continued her work as a housekeeper with dedication and professionalism. She not only handled daily chores, but also brought warmth to a house that had once been cold. Robert, a successful but lonely businessman, found himself increasingly drawn to Anna's presence. One afternoon, as Anna tended to the garden, Robert approached her and said, "You've made this place come alive. I'm grateful for that." Anna smiled gently. "I just want to do my job well." Through brief exchanges like these, their relationship grew closer. Robert continued to share stories of his past, of mistakes and losses. Anna, too, opened up more about Ethan and the pain she had endured. Their mutual empathy and understanding forged a special bond between them. One evening, after finishing work with Robert, Michael caught Anna reading a book in the library. He approached her, his voice warm. "I heard you're from Astoria. I've been there a few times. It's a beautiful town." Anna set the book down and nodded. "Yes, it's my hometown. I miss it dearly." Michael smiled. "If you'd like, I could take you back to visit someday." Anna felt a warmth in her heart at Michael's genuine kindness. However, memories of Ethan still haunted her, making her hesitant to fully open her heart to anyone. Even so, she noticed the growing depth of her feelings for Robert, the age gap, their different statuses, and her complicated past made Anna uncertain about her emotions. In the days that followed, Robert spent more time with Anna. They walked through the garden together, enjoyed afternoon tea, and shared everyday stories. Robert felt his heart come alive after years of loneliness. One evening, as the sunset painted the sky red, Robert looked deeply into Anna's eyes and said, "Anna, I know this might be sudden, but I've found in you a true companion. Do you think we could give each other a chance?" Anna was taken aback by the confession. She felt Robert's sincerity but also feared the potential consequences. After a moment of silence, she replied softly, "Robert, I deeply appreciate your feelings, but I need time to think." Robert nodded, respecting Anna's decision. In his heart, the hope for a happy future with her grew stronger. Meanwhile, Michael couldn't hide his special interest in Anna. He often sought opportunities to meet and talk with her. Michael's presence added to Anna's confusion about her feelings. She found herself torn between two men, each bringing her different emotions and experiences. In the days that followed, Anna faced difficult choices about her feelings. She wondered if she had the courage to enter a new relationship with Robert, or if she should open her heart to Michael's affection. The future ahead was full of uncertainties, but Anna knew she needed to listen to her heart to find the right path. In the summer of 2007, at Robert Lawson's mansion in Seattle, the air was filled with preparations for a special event. Robert, 57, and Anna Mitchell, 26, decided to hold their wedding after nearly 2 years of getting to know each other and sharing life's challenges. Throughout 2006, through the months of facing difficulties together, Anna gradually felt a sense of safety and sincerity from Robert, a feeling she hadn't experienced since losing Ethan. Though still conflicted by her feelings for Michael, she realized her heart had chosen Robert. The ceremony was intimate, attended by close friends. Anna wore a pristine white dress, holding a bouquet of carnations, the flower Ethan, her late husband, had loved. Robert, in a sophisticated suit, couldn't hide his joy as he watched Anna walk toward him. During the ring exchange, Robert looked deeply into Anna's eyes and said, "Anna, you've brought light back into my life. I promise to always be by your side, sharing every joy and sorrow." Anna, moved, replied, "I believe that despite a painful past, we can still build a happy future together." After the ceremony, they cut the wedding cake together and shared their joy with the guests. Michael Turner, Robert's business partner, was also present. He congratulated the couple and gave Anna a warm smile, showing his admiration for her resilience and strength. Not long after the wedding, Anna received a letter from her sister, Sarah Mitchell, who was living in Portland. In the letter, Sarah wrote, "I'm so happy to hear you found new happiness. Though we've been apart, I always wish for your peace and love." Anna read the letter, tears streaming down her cheeks, her heart filled with hope for a brighter future. In the fall of 2007, at Robert Lawson's mansion in Seattle, Anna Mitchell, 26, was carrying a small life growing inside her. After the wedding, Robert decided to unlock the old storage room he had kept sealed for years so Anna could clean it out and turn it into a room for their child. While sorting through the items, she discovered a weathered wooden chest, carefully locked. Curious, Anna asked Robert about the chest, and he agreed to let her open it. Inside the chest were old photos, letters, and a diary. Anna was stunned to see pictures of a young Robert with Margaret Carter, her late mother-in-law. Her heart raced as she read the diary entries. "Margaret, you are my light. I can never forget you." The following pages recounted the love story between Robert and Margaret, Margaret's pregnancy, and their separation due to a misunderstanding. Anna trembled as she realized Margaret had given birth to Ethan, her late husband. This meant Robert was Ethan's father, and she had married her father-in-law. Robert had once suspected Ethan might be his son when Anna spoke of him, but he hadn't dared to face the truth, fearing it would destroy everything. Now, with the truth laid bare, both were thrown into a state of shock. That evening, Anna confronted Robert in the living room. She handed him the photos and diary, saying, "Robert, I've read everything. Ethan was your son." Robert slumped into a chair, his face pale. "My God, how could this happen? I suspected, but I didn't dare believe it. I love you, Anna." Anna wept, her heart torn between her love for Robert and the horrifying truth. She wanted to stay, to believe love could overcome anything, but her conscience told her she couldn't. After a sleepless night, she decided, "We can't go on, Robert. I can't stay after knowing this truth." Robert collapsed, tears falling. "How am I supposed to live without you?" Anna, resolute, said, "I love you, but letting go is the only way." A week later, Robert gave Anna a will, leaving his estate to her and their unborn child. "This is all I can do to make amends." Anna refused. "I just want you to find peace." But Robert insisted, "Please take it for our child." On the day of parting, rain poured heavily. Anna stepped into a taxi, looking back at Robert standing at the gate. He whispered, "I will always love you." Anna, carrying her unborn child, whom she named James, left Seattle, her heart shattered but glimmering with hope. Michael Turner, aware of the situation, watched from a distance, a resolve to protect Anna rising within him. Sarah Mitchell, summoned by Anna from Portland, was on her way to support her sister. The taxi disappeared into the rain, and Robert collapsed on the porch. But the figures of Michael and Sarah drew closer, like the first rays of light piercing through the darkness. Parting was painful, but it was also the beginning of Anna and Robert finding happiness in ways they never expected. In the spring of 2008, after a tearful parting, Anna Mitchell returned to Astoria, the place where all her memories began. She carried within her a small life growing day by day. The old house by the Columbia River became her only sanctuary, though memories of Ethan still haunted every wall, every gust of wind through the window frames. Anna lived quietly, avoiding neighbors, rarely leaving the house. Her belly grew, and each time she felt the baby move, her heart tightened. This was Robert's child, the man she had loved, the man she had to leave after discovering the devastating truth. Part of her wrestled with doubt. Did she deserve to be a mother? But one quiet night, the sound of the baby's heartbeat through the ultrasound at a small local clinic brought her to tears. "You're not to blame. I'll protect you," she whispered, placing her hand on her belly. In April 2008, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. She named him James, a simple name that carried the meaning of change and a second chance. Those early nights, Anna stayed awake, caring for her son amidst the sound of the sea breeze and an overwhelming sense of emptiness. But each of James's smiles, each time he grasped her finger with his tiny hand, became a thread tying her back to the world. One day, Sarah Mitchell, Anna's older sister, appeared at her doorstep. After receiving Sarah's letter during her time in Seattle, Anna had written back, sharing her life and sending her Astoria address, hoping one day her sister would visit. After years apart, Sarah arrived, and for the first time, the sisters embraced tightly, tears streaming down their faces. "I know I left in the wrong way, but from now on, I'm here, for you and my nephew," Sarah said, stroking Anna's hair. They cleaned the house together, taking turns caring for James. Sarah began painting again, setting up a small studio in the backyard. By early 2009, as James grew sturdier, Anna decided to bake and sell at the local farmers market, a way to rediscover joy and reconnect with the outside world. A few weeks later, Michael Turner unexpectedly arrived in Astoria. Having learned of the situation from Tom Harris in Seattle, he had come to check on Anna. He brought a few bouquets of flowers from Seattle and a gentle gaze reserved just for her. "I'm not here to bring up the past," Michael said. "I just want to see if you're okay." He became a regular customer at her small bakery, each visit spent talking with Anna about simple things: the sea, the seasons, and the unspoken. Anna began to smile more. She hadn't forgotten what had happened, but now with her sister by her side, with James and with Michael, the man who never pushed her, always quietly there, she knew she still had a chance to live, to forgive, and to love again. In the summer of 2010, Astoria glowed under golden sunlight. 2 years after the ordeal, Anna Mitchell had truly been reborn. Her small bakery, Sweet Second Chances, had become a beloved spot in town. People came not only for the fragrant waffles or warm apple pies, but because they found there a gentle smile and a familial warmth. Every morning, James, her 2-year-old bundle of mischief, toddled around the shop, babbling to regular customers with adorable sounds. Sarah Mitchell, now a painter frequently invited to exhibit in Portland, still maintained her small studio behind the house. After years apart, the sisters had finally found a rhythm together: morning coffee, splitting chores at noon, and reading to James at night. Anna had learned to laugh without forcing it, to forgive herself, thanks to Sarah, to James, and to Michael Turner. Michael still visited Astoria once a month, not for work, but for a reason he had never voiced. He helped Anna expand her bakery, introducing her to small coffee shop chains in Seattle to supply baked goods. Each visit, he brought a few wildflowers, the kind Ethan used to pick for Anna, and chatted with James like a familiar uncle. One August afternoon, as the sun cast a fiery red glow over the Columbia River, Michael and Anna sat on the wooden bench in front of the house, James sleeping soundly in Sarah's arms in the back. Michael had loved Anna quietly for a long time, but he knew she needed time to heal. Only when he saw her truly reborn, with her bakery thriving and her smile radiant, did he dare to speak. He said softly, "I thought I'd never love again after my best friend passed. But then, I met you. You didn't need anyone to save you. You rose from the ruins on your own. I just want to walk beside you, if you'll let me." Anna sat in silence for a long time, her heart still bearing unhealed scars. She looked at the sun, remembering Robert, Ethan, and all the painful memories. But then she glanced at James, the child born of an imperfect love, and felt a lightness in her heart. Michael's sincerity and patience made her feel safe. She turned to him, nodding slightly. "I'm not ready to promise anything yet, but you can stay for dinner." Michael smiled, his eyes lighting up, not because of her answer, but because Anna had finally opened a door. That evening they cooked together, sharing portions of salad, grilled meat, and apple pie. Sarah teased, "Michael should learn to bake if he wants to be welcomed here more often." The three adults laughed together, and in that laughter, a new chapter quietly began. Anna still didn't call it love, but she knew, if she were to love again, it would be with a heart that had known pain, had been broken, and thus knew how to cherish deeply. In the fall of 2011, Portland shimmered with golden leaves. Sarah Mitchell was preparing for her first solo art exhibition in years, an event that drew artists and collectors from across the region. Many of the paintings she created in her Astoria studio filled the space: scenes of beach sunsets, the cozy bakery, and a particularly special portrait: Anna holding James amidst a field of wildflowers. Sarah called it rebirth. On the opening night, in the quiet exhibition space, a man with salt and pepper hair stepped in, tall, with experience but heavy eyes. It was Robert Lawson. Through conversations with Anna, Sarah had learned of Robert's regret after Anna left. She decided to send him a letter, inviting him to the exhibition, hoping he might find peace in seeing the painting of her sister. "If you haven't forgiven yourself, come." Not to explain, but to look back. Robert stood silently for a long time before the rebirth painting. He didn't see the small, broken Anna from the day they parted. He saw a vibrant mother, her eyes full of peace. Sarah approached him, her voice soft as a breeze. "That's my sister. She's no longer the trembling girl who left your mansion." Robert looked at Sarah, a woman nearly a decade older than Anna, but with the same eyes: intelligent, empathetic, and non-judgmental. He whispered, "I don't deserve a second chance." Sarah replied, her gaze fixed on the painting. "No one truly does, but sometimes we need to force ourselves to believe we can still love and be loved." They sat in a corner of the room sipping wine. Robert spoke of the years after Anna left, the empty mansion, the business documents he couldn't bear to read. Sarah shared her years of estrangement, how the first painting she made in the studio behind the house was of James sleeping in Anna's arms. Their silence wasn't awkward, but profound, as if they had both been waiting for this moment for a long time. In the weeks that followed, Robert and Sarah met often, talking over light meals and other exhibitions. Their shared pain and hope gradually drew them closer. One evening at a small Italian restaurant by the Willamette River, with no flowers, no ring, no declaration of love. Just two seasoned souls smiled in candlelight and admitted a simple truth. After all these years, I thought I'd never feel this way again. And then, we met. Sarah didn't ask about Anna. She knew the time to face her would come. But for now, she chose to hold the hand of the man who had once been a deep wound in her sister's life. Because only love, not anger, could truly erase the boundaries of past mistakes. In Astoria, Anna received a postcard, an image of red maple leaves with the words, "Thank you for giving me a chance to start again. Sarah." In her quiet gaze, something had been forgiven. In the winter of 2012, Astoria was wrapped in the early season's chill. James, now 4 years old, was bright, lively, and especially loved the sea, just like Ethan once did. Every morning, Anna Mitchell took her son along the sandy shore before opening the bakery. In the afternoons, he sat by the counter, listening to his mother chat with customers, learning to tell apart different types of flour and how to cut apples without squishing them. He once asked, "Who's my dad?" And for the first time, Anna didn't shy away, answering gently, "He was someone you loved very much, but he's far away now. But you have me, Aunt Sarah, and Uncle Michael." Michael Turner, as always, came every month without fail, no notice needed. Over the past months, Michael's patience and gentleness had slowly made Anna feel safe. Each visit, he taught James to fold paper airplanes, fix the fence behind the house, or simply sat listening to Sarah recount Anna's childhood stories. Sarah admired Michael, not for his wealth or charm, but for his quiet presence. He never demanded that Anna love him back, but he was always there when she needed him. One October evening, when James came down with a high fever, Michael was the first to rush to the pharmacy, the one who drove through the rain to take mother and son to the emergency room. Anna didn't say thank you. When James was stable, she simply held Michael's hand tightly in the waiting room and for the first time rested her head on his shoulder. She realized she no longer wanted to face everything alone. It wasn't a promise, but it was an answer. Meanwhile, in Portland, Robert and Sarah had gradually become a public couple. They weren't loud or rushed. Sarah took Robert to exhibitions, and Robert brought Sarah back to the old mansion, where he had once promised Anna a home and now wanted to transform it into a cultural space for the community. They spoke of the future, of companionship, no longer as two people seeking redemption, but as two souls who understood the loneliness that had once broken them. At the end of that year, Sarah proposed something. "Let's go to Astoria so James can meet his grandfather." Robert hesitated, fearing his presence might hurt Anna again, but he agreed, hoping to make amends. One early winter day, their car pulled up in front of the small bakery by the Columbia River. Anna stepped out, embracing Sarah without a word. Robert stood silently. James, holding a paper airplane, ran out, looking at him with curious eyes. "Would you like me to tell you a real story?" Robert asked softly. James nodded. Anna looked at the two men, one a scar that had healed, the other a gentle hand guiding her forward. Her heart wrestled with mixed feelings, but seeing the sincerity in Robert's eyes, she said, "I don't need you to apologize anymore, but if you want to know what your son left behind, this is him." Robert bowed his head, placing a hand on James's shoulder, his eyes brimming with tears. James, with his innocent smile, became the bridge for Anna, Robert, and Sarah to sit together, letting go of the past's pain. That evening under the porch roof, for the first time in years, they sat at the same table. Anna, Michael, James, Sarah, and Robert. No one spoke of the past. There was only laughter, the clinking of spoons on plates, and the warm scent of apple pie. Family isn't always born from blood. Sometimes it comes from those who choose to stay, after every wound. In the spring of 2013, Astoria came alive with the first warm breezes of the season. The garden behind Sweet Second Chance's bakery was covered in wildflowers, children's laughter echoing across the brick-paved yard as James Mitchell chased butterflies with Sarah, the aunt he called Little Grandma. Anna, in a pale blue linen dress, was arranging the tablecloth in the yard. Inside the kitchen, Michael Turner carefully decorated a wedding cake. a three-tiered almond cake, lightly covered in white frosting, adorned with a strip of fresh lavender. Today, after a long journey of heartbreak and rebirth, he and Anna would marry, not with fanfare or an elaborate gown, just two honest hearts standing by each other. Robert Lawson, 63, gave a speech at the small ceremony. Standing beside Sarah Mitchell, holding her hand, his voice was hoarse but steady. Life isn't measured by what we have, but by what we learn after losing everything. Today I'm here as someone who made mistakes, but I'm fortunate to witness the happiness of those I care about. Anna looked at him, her heart still stirring with mixed emotions, but she nodded slightly, feeling the sincerity in his words. Though some painful memories lingered, Anna realized her and James's happiness was what mattered most. She smiled, letting the past rest, then took Michael's hand amid the applause of those around them. After the simple ceremony, everyone sat down to eat cake and drink tea under the shade of a tree. Sarah hugged James, whispering, "You're the reason we forgave each other." He didn't fully understand, just giggled innocently and said, "I only know. Everyone here loves me." As the afternoon faded, Anna, Michael, and James walked along Cannon Beach, the place where she had once wept in the sunset of grief, where her first love had faded with the waves, but now became the site of a new beginning. James asked, "Mom, when I grow up, can I love someone?" Anna knelt down and kissed his forehead. "You can love anyone, as long as your heart is big enough to forgive and brave enough to let go." Behind them, Robert and Sarah walked slowly, saying nothing, but their eyes shone brightly. They knew life isn't always fair, but if you hold on long enough, love will always return. Life is not a straight line. It's a spiral of mistakes, forgiveness, loss, and rebirth. And in the story of Anna Mitchell, Robert Lawson, Sarah Mitchell, and Michael Turner, we see the truest thing. No matter how dark the past, love and compassion can still light the way. Anna once lost everything: her husband, her husband's family, her trust, and finally herself, when she discovered the horrifying truth that her new husband was the father of her late husband. She fell into an abyss, thinking she could never move forward, but her choice to leave, to rebuild her life, to raise her child in silence, and to forgive the unforgivable turned her from a victim into the architect of her own life. Robert Lawson, once a proud and successful man, walked a path of redemption and collapse. He loved Anna, unaware she was his former daughter-in-law, and when he learned the truth, he didn't make excuses. He accepted the pain, let go, and only sought forgiveness. But his courage to face his mistakes and endure loneliness opened the door for him to meet Sarah, a woman who understood that people are not their judgments. Sarah Mitchell, the sister who once left her family, carried the scars of distance, disappointment, and silence. But she chose to return, not to play the hero, but to become an essential part of her sister's rebirth. She loved Robert, not because he was perfect, but because he knew remorse. And she forgave, not to erase the past, but to create space for a better future. Michael Turner, the quietest figure in the story, proved that love doesn't have to be loud. He didn't step into Anna's life to replace anyone, made no promises, only offered a steady presence. And because of that kindness, he earned the love he patiently nurtured. James, the boy born from a relationship no one dared define, became the center that bound them all. A child may come from a wound, but he is also the most beautiful thing to bloom from suffering. James isn't just Anna's son. He's the child of hope, of faith and goodness, the bridge that brought those once hurt to sit together and let go of past pain. The story, Shadows of Truth, doesn't encourage forgetting mistakes. It whispers, if you're brave enough to look directly at pain, patient enough to keep living, and generous enough to forgive, then you will rewrite your own fate. Because sometimes true happiness doesn't come from avoiding tragedy, but from how we overcome it with those who stay.